corredores en movimiento. El tiro a tercera. Skaters on baseball. Yeah, you know the name.
That's right. You know the name. I'm Schmitty, and this is Scares on Baseball. We got a crazy one. It's Friday the 13th. We got hella evil. We're going full dark side. Christian's whole Wi-Fi exploded, and we got a Dodger fan on this show. Kelly Hart is here, kids. Kelly's from the 9 Club, pro skater. Think you still work at Soltech maybe too?
Nine-decker skateboarding. That's what we changed to now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, look, it's Friday the 13th. The Giants are going into Chavez Ravine for a 3-game series. First time the Dodgers have faced the Giants this year. It's the latest I think this has ever happened. But the Giants are 1 game back. So this is going to be a real intense series. This is the best rivalry in all of sports. I think it's better than the Yankees Red Sox, maybe a close second. But dude, you got tickets Tuesday, you said. Give me the hype.
Dude, I'm stoked. Thank you for having me on the show, by the way. This is awesome. I'm stoked for this series. It's been really fun this season to see the Giants, Dodgers, and the Padres going this crazy right now. And I watch all the rest of what's going on the other side, but those 3 teams have been really fun to watch. Obviously, with the Dodgers being on top the entire time, pretty much. But no, I'm stoked. I was just like, I got to go to this game. It's kind of a mission being on the west side, but I'm gonna take the train over there. 45-minute straight shot through traffic. I'm stoked. Yamamoto and Webb.
2 aces head to head.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Are you like nervous, or you think, oh, we got this? Like, what's your thoughts on the series right now?
It's crazy. I was nervous last week with the Padres because that rivalry this last couple of years has become something very big between the Dodgers and the Padres.
For sure.
And last year, I mean, no offense to the Giants, you guys, like, they weren't as strong as a team, and this year they're killing it. So it's like, everyone here is concerned about the Padres, and now it's like, oh fuck, the Giants. They're like, that's like the bigger rivalry from like obviously a long time, but it's like, okay, so now we have this going on again. So
well, the difference too is the Giants don't really have a Tatis, like Tatis is a beast. He's one of the best in baseball, and like any moment he can just change the game. Machado's a close second, but Tatis is crazy. And the Giants kind of have more of like a working class team where it's just like everybody's contributing and hopefully everything goes well. But how long you been into baseball? Since day one, or like did you get into it late? Like how did this start?
So I grew up playing. I mean, I grew up in Laguna Hills, and I started playing like I think it was the first sport I played pretty much. Maybe it was like soccer, but then like baseball, I played t-ball. I played all the way into high school. I was leadoff batter and center fielder. And so,
oh shit.
Yeah. So I played until I quit to just pursue skateboarding pretty much. So I was full jock. Like I played basketball, baseball, football, starting wide receiver. I played basketball. I was a 6-man in basketball. But I love baseball. It just skateboarding took over, and that period of my life, like traveling and just skating, and that's all I cared about, like just focused on that. That took over my life. And then I'm going to say about 5 years ago is when I got really back into baseball. Like
right before the pandemic?
Yeah, like right before.
Okay.
And it was right around when the Astros were banging on trash cans. So it was like right around that time. But like it was cool. I just went to that stadium recently. It was actually a beautiful stadium. But
I got it.
It's like I've been seeing that, not to change the subject, but I've seen you go to all the stadiums, man. That shit's super sick.
Yeah, we try to go to 1 or 2 at least every year because I'm trying to get to all of them.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of a bucket list with me. Just I travel for all these contests for like street leagues or damn AMs or whatever, and I'm always like, all right, I can go to Houston, I can go to the Marlins, I can go to like whatever. So even if they're not playing the Dodgers, I don't care. But yeah, I grew up playing, loved it. Grew up, and our family didn't really have like this. We grew up. The Angels were obviously the local, but we didn't have like our family didn't have like a team that we were just like diehard by. So, but I grew up loving Ken Griffey Jr. That was like my guy. Like
the kid.
Like it's all. I have a Ken Griffey signed junior a ball and
Nice.
card on my mantle. Like here, it's like. So I grew up idolizing that dude, and
I always got to pull this out. You seen this?
I can't really. What is it?
Hold on. Let me pull it out of the plastic. Signed ball by one of the best, probably the second best player that isn't in the Hall of Fame.
Who? I can't really read it. Who is it?
It says, "I'm sorry I bet on baseball, Pete Rose."
Oh wow. Dude. Wait, didn't they? That's amazing. Wait, didn't they say something that he could like get inducted?
Yeah, now that he's dead, apparently he was banned for life. So now that he's dead, he can get in. It's the weirdest shit. I don't know how his family feels about it. It's like, fuck, if they ever do that to me, dude, just cremate everything. Don't you know? It's like,
dude, that's a crazy one, man. That's how you got that, man. I grew up just loving baseball. So I don't know. I just got back into it, and the Dodgers were the only team. It's crazy. I forgot how hard it is to watch all the teams all the time, unless you get like the MLB app or whatever, and whatever. But since I have the Dodger like Spectrum thing here, I started was just getting back into it again, and then just over and over and over, just watching it and getting super hyped. And I don't know, it's just been fun to be a part, or like just to watch.
That's cool. My friend just filmed. So you know who Jeremy Fish is, right? The artist guy. He did a bunch of Think stuff. He's like pretty big all over, but he's here in SF. He got to do a in-house at Oracle at the Giants ballpark. And my friend Jeremy filmed the whole thing and made like an edit. It's really cool. He's doing artwork every day or every home game for a whole month. And they made like a whole thing out of it. Anyway, neither of those guys is really into baseball. And now Jeremy, the filmer, he's texting me every day like, dude, I'm in. Holy shit. Like, this is cool. Oh my God. What do you think about Otani? Like, wow. Like, just it's so funny. I'm like, okay, dude, just watch for a while. Like, you got some catching up to do.
That's so sick, dude. I mean, it's been crazy. I trip out on the Giants and a few teams out there, how really they connect with like the skateboarders in their city. And I feel like
a lot of people are throwing out first pitches all of a sudden, like Wes Kramer in San Diego. Did Costin and P-Rod or somebody in LA, right? I
think Paul's threw one out at Dodger Stadium. That's like the hardest one. Like, I feel like to do an opening pitch at, but there's homies at San Diego at the Padres that like, if I go down there, they take care of us. Like, it's actually crazy. Like these skaters, I don't want to blow his name up, just whatever, but the homie down at the Padres, super rad dude, skates. And he's like, oh, if you're ever in town, like when the Dodgers played the Padres, he's like, come on down. You got me into batting practice. He's like, they're like, yo, you have to put a jacket over your jersey. You can't wear your hat. Cause I have to like hang out in the Padres section and watch the batting practice. But like, it was super cool to like, just go experience, like that stadium is beautiful and just kind of see what's going on down there. It's pretty sick.
Well, so your history as a Dodger fan am I understanding that this is like 5 years? It hasn't been like, you're not like a lifer.
No, I didn't grow up like, it was basically like Angels. I watched Dodgers. And then when I was a kid, randomly, when I came home from school skating, like from school, before I went skating or like went to baseball or whatever I was doing, I would randomly watch a lot of Cubs and White Sox because we had WGN Chicago, and that was whatever, Channel 8. And I'd get home, and a game would always be on. And so I'd sit there and watch the Cubs, and I'd watch, like Harry Carey would be like talking, and I'd be like, just like sitting there by myself, just watching games. And so I didn't really have like this Dodger thing as a kid. My neighbors loved them. I would watch the Angels sometimes, but I didn't have that. And then when I moved up to LA, it's kind of when I got a really big hang of it and kind of felt it. I don't know. That's kind of when I got into it all.
Dude, I have like almost the same story, but Atlanta, we had TBS, and this is way long ago, before there was really cable, and they had wrestling and the Braves on all the time. And I got into like WWF and the Atlanta Braves, like Dale Murphy, early days. I was like maybe early 80s, I think. I'm dating myself, but like it was so sick because it was like how it is now, but way back then. Like every game was on TV. Like that was unheard of at the time. Same thing with WGN. Like they just covered the White Sox and Cubs all the time. So like if you have those channels, you're just like, okay, I got my team, but like I'm gonna watch this like this because I like baseball. You know, I love my team, but I love the game also. Same,
dude. I think that as a kid, like, you know, you couldn't watch the Angels all the time. We would go to like games every now and then. Like Jim Abbott would be pitching, or like, you know, that era. And like my mom would see freaking Reggie Jackson like out in the streets, like she getting smoothies and shit. Like, oh, Reggie Jackson was there. It's like, I don't know. You couldn't watch the games all the time, but you would just, whatever was on, you were like stoked to watch it. You know what I mean? I would watch baseball tonight, you know, at nighttime when I get home or something. So, yeah, no, that's cool, man.
Well, true or false, your aunt gives you front row tickets once a month so you can sit next to her, and her name is Mary Hart.
No, I would be awesome. I don't know who's Mary Hart.
Oh, wow, really? You don't know?
Wait, is that what? I don't know. My trip.
Mary Hart is like, she has season tickets and she sits front row behind home plate, and she's this woman that did early entertainment shows on TV, and her legs were sponsored. Like she had insurance on her legs because her legs were under the desk and they had the desk clear so you could see her legs. Like what? She's pretty famous, and she's at every Dodger game right behind home.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
Man, I got to find 23andMe, dude. I got to find out. That's no. Yeah, I didn't know.
So that. Who are like top 3 favorite players on the team? I mean, I almost want to say besides Otani and Mookie, because I'm guessing those guys are obviously in.
I've always been a fan, like Will Smith. I got his jersey on right now. The position of catcher is insane. I mean, I have bad hips, like that's why I can't really skate as much anymore. But I can't imagine sitting like that all the time, like, and just calling the shots, basically. You're sitting there calling these shots with like the best players in the world coming up the bat, and with the best pitchers like pitching. So Will Smith's probably like my favorite. As much, I was super bummed to see that Chris Taylor and Austin Barnes got DFA'd, but that, you know, this new guy's coming in, you know, you got to make room. And I think it was about their time. But Freddie Freeman, I was really hyped when he came over. So I would say probably Will Smith, Freddie. And just for the, I don't know, for the OG, I don't know, man. Dude, I was going to say like Miggy, just for like being an OG there. You know what I mean? Like just the, I guess you call him the old head. I don't know what you said. Like he's just been OG, but I don't know. Tommy Edmonds, super good. I think I kind of like the really good dudes that are underdogs. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? The guys that not everyone talks about, but I don't know.
Well, we've seen I haven't seen the Dodgers yet. You know, they haven't been here. We haven't been there. So I'm not going to watch them if they're playing other teams. I don't really like to do that, but I did notice that they have 14 pitchers on the IL. And recently one of their position players was on the mound. Kike Hernandez.
Kike. He's been up there twice. He's been up there twice this year, I think.
So we were watching like highlights, and we saw this. I mean, is that how you guys celebrate down there?
I don't know if that's how we all celebrate, but he definitely does that sometimes. That was last year, though. But that was, you know, I was dying when I saw that, man. That was good. Kike, he's definitely like the energy of the team, man. He's got a lot of energy.
He's like the clubhouse guy that gets everyone fired up. Like that. That's what we just got Willie Adames, and he's got like the highest contract. People are bummed because his offensive numbers haven't happened yet. But the guy is the first dude out of the dugout to like celebrate every time. Like he's really the rah-rah guy. So I'm rooting for him. Yeah. So what's the vibe like though with that many? I mean, Blake Snell, Sasaki, the list goes on. There's like 14 guys. Like it's got, and then are you guys like, do you think there's pressure for Otani to start pitching sooner than maybe they wanted?
You know what's funny? It's like last year I felt like we were in the same position. Like like there's so many pitchers were in the IL. Like it kept going back and forth. Glass now and everyone. And obviously last year Otani wasn't even in like an option because of his arm. But I think he's been doing bullpens, and I think coming up real soon he's supposed to be. They're saying he's going to pitch. So I think it's pretty soon.
I'm hearing that maybe July.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that first game that he pitches is going to be that place. Almost every game is pretty packed. You know what I mean? Like that stadium is nuts. I went to Marlins Stadium when they're playing the A's, but whatever. And it was like just nobody there. But you go to any random Dodger game and it's packed. And when that dude pitches the first time, it's gonna be sold out for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. People go nuts. What was it like with the bobblehead or something? It was like people were spending the night, and it was insane.
I love it, dude. Yeah, it was like I've got a few bobbleheads, but yeah, people go nuts over the good ones, man.
No, anything Otani, it's like it's crazy. Yeah, I'm just tripping this weekend. We got Webb versus Yamamoto, and then tomorrow we got Landon Roop going against Kershaw, which I'm really excited about because I think we got a good chance against Kershaw. I'm hoping that we can win one or two games. I don't think there's a chance we're sweeping, but I hope that the games are competitive and that we get at least one win and keep all the games tight and just show people like, hey, you better respect this. We're here again. Like, because the last couple of years have been a little tough. And then they got Buster Posey in, and he's trying to like get the ship straight again. And so I talked to Jesse Alba a bunch. He's a pretty big Dodger fan, and he's always giving me shit, and I'm giving him shit. It's been pretty fun. Do you ever go with that crew? Those guys have a baseball team.
Dude, I don't go. I see them there sometimes. Like I'll show up and I'll see them and like Costin and all this scuba, and I'll just run into them. Dude, on the west side right here, I'm kind of like not the only Dodger fan, but the intensity of Dodger fans on this side of town isn't that heavy until you get into the city. But yeah, I see those dudes there sometimes. I don't talk to them too much, but I'll say what's up if I see them. Yeah. I wonder, did you guys have a day of rest yesterday? Did you have a day off, or was it straight from a game? Oh, yeah, we had a day off yesterday.
I know. I've seen that. Our schedule has been crazy. Like last East Coast road trip, we were in, I want to say maybe it was Miami or somewhere. It was Boston or Miami. Like anyway, East Coast. We played not a afternoon game, like a twilight game, right? And then had to fly across country and play a day game the next day. It was like, who's scheduling this shit?
I know, dude. I trip on this baseball schedule if they play 2 games in a day. That's actually nuts.
Yeah,
that hardly happens like once or twice a year, But like playing every day is pretty wild. That's crazy, man.
So I gotta ask you because I got this shirt on.
Oh shit, dude!
What are your thoughts? I mean, can we really say that Otani didn't know anything was happening?
I always, dude. When that happened, when that came out, I was like, of course something has to be happen. You know what I mean? Like the biggest deal ever going on. Like, and then that happens. You're like, but I feel like that guy looks so fried that like it literally was him. Like I think Shohei probably, it's crazy. He makes so much money that he probably wasn't even looking at shit like that, which is wild.
Damn.
I think that, dude.
I think it was like 20+ mil or something like that, right? 17 or something.
Whatever it is,
It's a lot.
If it was 100,000 to 20, like, even if it was 100,000, I'd be like, you didn't recognize that much money coming out of your account. But yeah, dude, I don't know. That shit was wild.
So what's a typical game like for you when you go out to Dodger Stadium? Are you eating at the game? Do you pack a lunch? Do you eat before? Like, what's your vibe? Like, are you guys drinking and getting hammered and screaming? Or like, are you looking for good seats? Like, what's the vibe?
It depends on who's playing and honestly who I'm going with.
Yeah.
But usually I'll go there a little early. My homie Scott Mackey, I don't know if you know Mackey, he's a big Dodger fan. We go down, like I'll meet him, like there's a bar called the Douglas Bar right below and like right on Sunset, or like there's a El Compadre right there. There's a couple restaurants and Dodger bars. You go in there, have a few drinks, maybe get an appetizer or something, get some food, walk up Vin Scully, just kind of, get in there, can find your seat. I do have a connection there. I got a homie that hooks up free food and drinks, which is very, very, very sick. Thank you to him. That saves a lot of money and a lot of time also, getting straight to the front of the line. So,
well, I've never been to Dodger Stadium. If I go there, what is the best? Like, what do I need to eat? Is there a specialty like the Dodger dog? Is that really all that? Like, what do we need?
I'm sorry, dude. The Dodger dog isn't like, it's a perfect name. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like, dude, I went to Petco and those hot dogs are fire. I was tripping on that. Like, Dodger dogs are good, but it's like, it's like a part of that culture where it's the way it's been forever. So it's good, but it's not like the best hot dog in the world. It's a classic thing.
Right.
They have a bunch of new food they put up every year. I can't remember this year they have like a 3-foot long hot dog. I don't know.
Ooh.
That's pretty nuts. But the food that they change it every year and it's pretty good, but I can't remember. There's a couple spots. I don't know if you're into like hot Cheetos, but there's a couple spots where you can
get like spicy, you mean?
Yeah. And like they put hot Cheetos on everything, that whatever you order.
Oh,
so like
shit.
That's kind of like a thing they got going on there. But yeah, I'll drink some beer. I'll drink some $20 beer sometimes and kick it. It's like if you want to talk shit, you go sit in the outfield. That's the best place to sit. Like, because like outfield is where everyone is just getting hammered and screaming at each other. It is fucking hilarious. But if you're sitting like behind, like on the sideline, like on the third base or first base or behind no plate, everything's pretty chill and like calm. But outfield's nuts.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I bet, like you said, I go to a bunch of different stadiums. Dodger Stadium hasn't been on my list yet. And to be honest, I can't think of a stadium that I'd be more scared to go to wearing a Giants jersey. Like it seems like dudes get violent down there when they're like, beers happen and then I don't know what goes on, but it seems like there's fights a lot or something. Is that dramatized or is it pretty gnarly?
I would say it's chilled out on that level with the Giants in the Dodgers, especially during the season. Like I saw some crazy shit when the Padres and Dodgers going on last year, like in the playoffs. Like if it gets towards the end of the season, that's when people get really rowdy. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, but I haven't seen anything crazy. I've been there with Giants fans, like sat with them and hang out with them. All good, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
And they were wearing Giants colors?
Yeah. It's it's nothing that crazy. Like I said, if you sit in the outfield, like I went to opening day for Dodgers and we played the Tigers, and there was some dude who's just sitting with a Tigers jersey right in the middle of everyone, and everyone was just heckling him, not like a fuck you type shit, but just talking. You're just shit talkers, you know what I mean? Just having fun. So you're just gonna have that when you get there. But I haven't seen anything violent, knock on wood. But I think in the past, the Giants and Dodgers had some crazy, like, that rivalry was insane. And I think people just get hammered and heated. So I haven't seen it for a while. So
that's good.
I would think you'll be all right.
Okay. Switch gears a little bit. You've been doing this 9 Club thing for years now. What kind of things have you learned through the process that maybe you could give us as suggestions or tips to help this show grow a little bit and like reach more people. We've been doing some live ones and I really enjoy doing it because people come in the chat and you're just talking to them like, and it's like a bigger conversation and more topics. But I just been like, I don't know, maybe it's a niche like skaters on baseball is not reaching that, there's probably not maybe that as many, but I just want to get more people involved and like make it a bigger thing and funner,
Yeah. Dude, yeah, it's crazy. We've been doing it for 9 years, which is nuts. That was
the 9 years.
Yeah,
Damn.
last Friday was 9 years of it, which is nuts to think about.
Congrats.
Thanks, dude.
You guys have like pretty much done it. I mean, how many vacations, if you will, like how many? Not that many, right? Like you guys are doing it pretty much every week, except for every once in a while there's the microphone with the black box that says we're out. Who would you like to see on the show? But that doesn't happen that much.
Yeah, to be like Chris and Roger don't take breaks, and when you see something like that, like there's a break, it's usually not because they're taking a vacation, dude. It's because something happened and they're like, hey, I can't, I can't do it. Something happened with the family or whatever it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Dude, unfortunately, Chris's his mom's house burned down in the fires.
Oh,
so it's horrible. So he's like, dude, I can't, I got to help my mom. I got to help my family.
Of course,
that's first. Yeah. So sometimes that's usually what happens, but I don't know. It's being consistent is what I realized working with Roger and Chris about putting episodes out is being consistent with your listeners.
Like every Monday at 10. Yeah,
and like
so
your listeners know when to chime in. And so we do it a live show too that we kind of put on a pause and we built a new set for it, or they built a new set for it, Roger and Chris. But we go live every Thursday at 6. And so our the chat members or whoever, people that subscribe to us, that are channel members, anyone wants to watch can go at 6 o'clock and know that we're going to be on, and they can chat with us and we can respond to them as we talk about skateboarding or whatever we're watching, It's funny. I do think this is awesome because I love baseball. It's so fun. So I think it's rad that you do this and you can connect baseball on that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of skaters that like baseball, dude. It's pretty. Right. So yeah. I think it's really cool.
I mean, Rowan and Neckface and those guys, they have a team. They're in a league and shit.
Dude. I mean,
it's pretty rad.
Yeah. What are they? They play like softball or something, right? Down in
No, I think it's overhand hardball. I think so. Yeah.
Damn, that's gnarly, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. It's
and
funny.
I heard they're like Jesse Alba. He's on the team, and he told me like Neck is good and Rowan is really good. Apparently, like
sick.
Yeah, like these guys know what they're doing. It's not just like.
Well, that's sick. I mean, it's funny, man. As a skateboarder growing up, in my high school, like it was like whack to my friends that I was playing sports with, like in the Jocks or whatever. They thought it was whack that I skated. And then the skaters thought it was whack that I played baseball. So I was in this weird thing. So I always was like, oh, I'm not going to tell any, like when I started skating and traveling and like got sponsored, like I didn't tell anyone that I had really played baseball, like, or I liked it. You know what I mean? That's a weird time. So it's rad to see like these amazing skaters just fully indulged into baseball. I don't know if did you ever have that feeling at all when you were younger skating?
It was taboo. I mean, now it seems like, I think once I almost give Rob Welsh a lot of credit for like the big baggy sweats and the basketball stuff. I feel like basketball became cool for skaters to like, and then that opened the door for maybe football and baseball. Like, baseball has always been kind of the last. Like, I think it was like, if you like football, it was like whatever, but basketball was like kind of like stylish and cool. And I got my Kobe jersey and all that stuff. And then, but dude, when I was in high school, same thing. And I think the reason that skaters hated like the jock mentality and all that stuff was because skaters were getting thrown into lockers and stuff for being like punks and outcasts. And it was by the jocks. So you're just like, I hate those type of people. Right. And then I don't want to watch those guys play sports and stuff. And so that escalated. And then at some point, I think it just kind of like, as the world is mellowing out in a lot of areas, it's like you can hardly even talk shit on people anymore. So it's like, I think all that stuff mellowed out. But yeah, I and skateboarding got so big also that it invited all types of people into it. And so you couldn't be like, skateboarding used to be a club. It was like Hell's Angels almost, where it's like everyone's kind of that same dude.
Yeah.
And then skating blew up and everybody's in it. And now you got like every type of person skates. So like, how are you going to be like, I don't do, it's like, well, then you're bumming that dude out. So yeah, it definitely has changed though. It definitely was like, is it cool to say I like baseball? Like if I go to the game shit, I'm not putting this on the gram, dude. Like,
no, for sure, dude. I mean, yeah, you're totally right. Basketball was the one, like when Kobe, I mean, my dad was the only thing in my family with dad was a huge Lakers fan, still is, but like, so I grew up watching, like he would like Magic and everything. And then when Kobe came to town that was something different. That was like, Kobe made the game here different. Like everyone was just like, I just was talking to Daniel Haney the other day randomly. And he was like, he came on the show. It's a great episode, but it's coming out soon. But he's like, oh, who's your team? He's like really into basketball. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm a Laker. I grew up a Laker fan. Like I'm just whatever. I know, right? LeBron's good, but and he's like, yeah, I'm more of like a Kobe era, like Kobe guy. It's like, and I was like, yeah, I was fully indulged when Kobe was there. Like that was something that he did for the city.
I mean, yeah, Kobe was kind of the next Jordan in a lot of ways. Like he was just like that dude. Like he carried it, and LeBron's been kind of like a little whiny about carrying it. Like, I don't want to be the face of the NBA.
Yeah, dude.
Kobe owned it, he was like, and he would even didn't Kobe kind of do the tongue like Jordan? Like
he had a little bit of that going for him. And he had he just had like, they moved somewhat similar, you know what I mean? Like to an extent. I love hearing stories about those two. And I trip out. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say when it goes to like sports, like you said, Rob Welsh, like bringing like basketball into it, and I think a lot of things that people overlook that baseball was always in tune with skateboarding was wearing baseball hats, like Dodger hats, SF hats, like for a long time, dude. Like when in my middle stage of like skateboarding, like I respect all the cities that like San Francisco, DC, Seattle, like from skateboarding so much that I would rock Seattle hats. I would rock SF hats. Like I rock Oakland A's hats because I respected those cities and their skate scenes so much. And then you get into it. And then my buddy Tyrone Romero, he works at New Balance. He's like, why the fuck you wearing a Boston hat, dude? And I was like, this is like why I wasn't into baseball as much anymore. You know what I mean? Like, this is like 7 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, I don't know. I've always worn it because like on a skate sense, but then I clear. I'm like, I can't wear, like, what am I doing? Like, just kind of funny thinking about those things. But
shout out to Tyrone, LRG to New Balance. That's the homie, dude. I love that dude. He's super tight.
Yeah. His cousin is Nolan Arenado.
Okay, I did hear that. I forgot about that. Whoa, I got to get Tyrone on.
Yeah, dude. Ty is big.
Because he likes baseball, huh? He came to a game with me and Staba, I think, like years ago.
Ty is like, because I grew up with him. He's from Laguna Hills. He never likes to say he's from there. He says he's from Santa Ana, but he's like literally 2 minutes from my house where I grew up. And I met him when I was 11 years old, and he was always like the fresh kid, like skating. But he like low key, cool kid in high school, but like skater kid. But he knew everything about basketball, baseball, football. Like I don't know, football a little bit, but like basketball, baseball, he knew everything, and he never really said anything about it. And then I'd be like, what? Like he would start talking to me about baseball. I was like, damn, this dude knows everything, and he's still. Like I talked to him on Friday, and he's just like, we're talking about baseball and shit and basketball. Like he's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
I gotta reach out to some of these guys. I kind of forget sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah. I wanted to go back. You mentioned Daniel Haney. I have a crazy story about this dude. did he talk about King of the Road?
He mentioned it, but I can't remember if he said anything specifically like that.
So this he gets the award for this one for me. Like I've never seen anybody. We always talk about, okay, in the early days before you had to bring too much gear, it was called a bitch bag if you had wheels on it, right? If you were like rolling your bag, it was a bitch bag. Even like what's his name? Dylan Reeder, he went on a trip with one and he was getting shit about it. Like everyone wanted to be gnarly back then. We go to King of the Road, the midway point in Milwaukee, and it's Jake and I think there's might be even the first trip I ever went with Jake. And we flew out there, we stayed there, and the middle of the road is where the teams meet and they get a mystery guest. And this year, the theme was this guy used to be on like Foundation or Black Label got Kristen Svitak. He wasn't on the team, but he used to be. So you got ex-riders, right? And Daniel Haney came for Foundation. And Jake and I, that was our deal, was we had to go to the airport to get all four of them, 4 different trips, because it was a secret. No one knew who their mystery guest was going to be, right? Dude, we pick up Daniel Haney. He's got a fucking parachute with him. He's like, I'm going skydiving. We're like, what?
Did he do it?
I think so. I think he was like, Burnett said I could bring whatever and I could go skydiving if I was a mystery guest. And I think he made the team like take him somewhere. I'm not positive on that, but because I didn't go on, I just went home after the midway stuff. But yeah, that was, dude, it was such a big bag too. I was like, oh, because these guys are in one van and they're going cross country trying to do all this stuff. So it was like, you're going to put that whole thing in. Oh, people are going to be bummed.
But can't you like go somewhere and they have parachutes there?
I don't know. I've never done it, but I think once it's kind of like playing pool. Some guys have to bring their own stick and stuff, like.
Fuck. That's insane. I never heard of that. That's amazing. He did not say that the other day. So that's amazing.
Okay, Rad. I look forward to that though. He's such a maniac. Like if you look him up on YouTube, he's doing like jumping over waterfalls. Like he does a lot of crazy stuff besides skateboarding. Yeah.
Well, I said it to his face. I think I've known him for a long time. I used to see him skating with Chris and Robbie would skate with him all the time. And I started seeing them when I was like 17 or 18. And dude, his falls in the Listen video, if you've seen that a long time ago that Tim Dalling did, some of the crazy, he has one fall where he like
a board slide on a long rail or something, right?
Dude, there's a bunch of them, but my friends we would quote these falls, how he sounded. Like when I was in like 7th and 8th grade, we would quote it, and then I just became friends with this dude. But he like slams on the rail, rolls off, and then slams it, hit his head on another rail next to it. It's like, and it just ends. You're like, oh my God, this guy destroyed himself. But yeah, you know what's cool about Nine Club is just I've known you for a long time. We haven't talked for a while, but it's like me and you kind of know like we're both like just skate nerds, dude. Like at the heart of it. And so for me personally, I've been really, really happy and proud to like sit and talk with these skateboarders that I've grown up just idolizing and just understanding and hearing them as a person rather than like reading it through a magazine or just seeing something. Is to like actually hear it from them themselves has been really cool and get to know them as well. So that's been really good.
I think someone like Steve Olson is the perfect example of like everyone talks about how cool he is, but you read it in the mag and you're like, oh, he's funny or whatever. But when you get to be with him in person and see his charisma and just how quick he is and how like he's always got like, it's like that's the kind of stuff that you can't really get unless you're like together or on video or something. And those moments are just priceless. You guys have, I mean, I can't even like who's somebody like who are some of your like top shows that you like, you know, like, oh shit, Kristen Asoy or whoever. I don't know.
I trip out like Christian is awesome. And I grew up in my era. I'm like, you know, late 90s, early 2000s type of like skateboarder. You know what I mean? Street, ledges, manual, stairs, whatever. The fact that I'm friends with Christian Asoy and he knows who I am, and he's like, we're super cool. I'm like, this is fucking insane. Like, you know, like it's just cool that this community, we're all friends with each other and stuff. He was super cool. So meeting someone like Spike Jones, like, and he's he's like, hey, dude, like, oh yeah, you're like the laugh I always hear. I couldn't put the face to the laugh, you know? And I'm like, this is those type of things make me trip out. Like hanging out with Josh Kalis. I've been a fan of Josh, my favorite trade flip of all time.
Sure.
That one's cool. I think Gino coming in there, like that one was crazy. Gino, dude, like the 16-year-old me when at the 9 Club where I used to live there, like Gino and Guy walk through the front door. And if you imagine yourself when I was 16, those guys were like mythical legends. Like you never saw them. You knew who they were. They were the illest, but you never saw them anywhere. And if you saw anything, you were fucking, oh my God, like I have to watch it again or look at like whatever. And those two walking through the front door and I'm like, hey, what's up, Guy? Hey, Gino. It's like those things. I always look back to those times. So, dude, Bryan Herman's story is completely nuts. Have you heard his story?
A little bit. I went on a trip with him and we talked about, from Victorville.
Yeah. But dude, like his whole story, if you get a chance, like I think he's told his stories other places maybe, but from my point of view, like his story from the 9 Club episode that he has, the first one he did is insane. And I had no idea of him being one of the best, like prolific skateboarders of our, like if my generation or that generation. Yeah. Like all the shit that he went through as a child during skateboarding, random money issues of like just random investing that he did. It's insane. It's like a Forrest Gump type scenario almost.
Oh man. Okay. I don't think I saw that one, but I'll check it out. I love Bryan. He's so awesome. Yeah. We went on a skate rock trip, I think it was, and I sat next to him most of the trip, and we just talked about fishing and like non-skateboarding stuff. It was really cool.
That's the best part, I think, is that now that I get to know these people, that like we don't even really talk about skating. You know what I mean? You get to know these guys, girls, anyone, and you're like, you talk about skating, but then you're like talking about random stuff, talk about baseball. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think that's what kind of humanizes it all, is like, we're not just here just like skateboard. Skateboarding's our life. I love it. But it is cool just to be like, talk about whatever. So that's been really fun too.
Well, shit.
What about, I want to know about like who, with you doing all this, like what's been cool with you, where you've been the Thrasher and everything like that? Like what's crazy? Like how long have you been there for?
26 years.
That's insane, dude. Congratulations. But like and
I'm only 24. That's crazy.
How does that feel? I mean, it's crazy because when you look back at it as a kid, like Thrasher, Transworld was the biggest at one point, I would say. That's my like as a kid. It was
the thickest.
It was the thickest. And I saw that.
And it had good paper so the photos look better and all that stuff.
I feel like it's crazy. You probably don't know any different because you've just been there for so long. But like the fact that that's the only skateboard Bible as there is, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is a trip to not have other media, right? Like, I mean, there's like digital media, but nothing really in print anymore. I mean, I think somebody just started a new one. It's like a little larger or something. Is it called like 7? It's like a number maybe. It has like artistic photos on the front. It's like a big portrait of a guy's face usually.
I don't know. I know that Jamie Owens has his.
Yeah, I think it's his.
Okay.
But
Closer.
Maybe okay, Closer. I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was called like 8 or there was a number. But yeah, I mean, when I started working at Thrasher, there was no website.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. And then I didn't create the website 100%, but I was very pivotal in every step of the way. Like I was there and did a lot of legwork, and it was at a time where no one cared about the website. You know, people didn't have their gadgets. Like they were like, Can I get a photo for the website? What the hell is that? Why? What? And it was a little disrespectful at the time. And to see it go full circle to seeing kids rather have a post on Instagram than a photo in the mag is just mind blowing. Like I tell people all the time, it's like, I never wanted to be the guy that said back in my day, because I heard that a lot when I was younger, and I was just like, save it, dude. Like, who cares what it was like back then? I want now, like, we're ripping, like, da-da-da. But as you get older, you realize that like history matters. A lot of people spend a lot of hard work paving a way for people to do the same thing in a simpler fashion. Mofo used to tell me that like a lot of people drive down the freeway at 65 miles an hour, but they never realized that back in the olden days, that freeway wasn't there and it took forever to get from point A to B, and people just take it for granted. And that kind of metaphor can be used for the pioneers in skateboarding. So I always like Bryce Kanights was a huge deal for me. He was in San Francisco. He was a photographer. I was into photography. He started doing the Thrasher videos. I was into videos. He would come down and hang out with us because I was friends with like people that ripped. And so he would take photos and always be nice to everyone, not just the guy that's ripping. And those lessons early on were so important to me because I see it now, and I'm so glad I'm not that guy that's like, hey, I only want to talk to Costin, not the 4 other dudes that are with him. Like it's like there's people like that. They're just kind of like gravitating towards the star. And so everybody has their role models and all that kind of stuff. And then Thrasher to me always was the best because it was from our backyard. Like Transworld was great, and Transworld made better videos always. I loved the Transworld videos. Like, I came at Mike Carroll's part. Like there's so many things that are amazing, and they were using like 16 millimeter and having really profound edits, and they were using B-roll before B-roll got like super popular, all that kind of stuff. But the mag always spoke to me. Transworld didn't speak to me. It was kind of watered down, and it was just like speaking to everyone. Whereas Thrasher felt like it was a NorCal attitude, and it was talking to NorCal people about NorCal skating and even like SoCal skating, but from a NorCal perspective. And so like, all that stuff, it was just cool. It just felt like, I always say Hell's Angels because it just felt like this club that not everyone could get into. And if you were in it, you felt really privileged to be a part of it. And you felt like it was a sacred thing. And that's kind of the attitude I want to keep with Thrasher. Like, I know that we have to all evolve and all that stuff, but I want it to be this thing still. Like you said, it's the Bible. People take this shit serious, and you can't just make it Mickey Mouse all of a sudden. Like, it has to be tough and rugged, and it has to be gnarly. Burnett will tell you that it has to be the best photos. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like boom, boom, boom. But the other thing that no one realizes, and I heard this a lot through all the years, is we have to put a mag out every month. Just probably the same philosophy you guys have where you're like, we're trying to put out an episode every week. It's like, hey, this one's done. We ain't done. And that's gnarly. That takes a lot of endurance and a lot of like, you need a lot of fire. You need people to fire you up. You need yourself to fire yourself up. And skateboarding has a lot of fire and a lot of passion for us that were drawn to it and have been a part of it for so long. It's crazy, dude. Like I always pinch myself, even 26 years later. Like I feel like I've done a lot for the mag, and I feel like I have a place somewhere, but I also feel like I'm super lucky to have grown up where I did, met the people I did, and it just lined up where like I'm not better than anybody else, but I just happened to like see an opening and say, I need that opening, and I dove in it, So that's kind of the Thrasher background for me, but it's getting gnarly. Like,
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
We for S, because right now I'm doing I'm team manager for S, America, and Etnies. And all three, which is a lot, but it's been fun to learn, and I'm happy to be doing it. we just did our first S ad since I've been a part of it for 10 years for working there. Since the Nidecker thing, we like the whole, they bought it, everything, and they put money into it to fund it to do awesome things. We've had our first Thrasher ad with TJ in the last one. And dude, that meant a lot to us to be able to have that in there. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's what I think we're cut from a different cloth, obviously, but for us, in print was always like, I thought print was better than getting a video clip opener in 411 kind of like, I just thought like it was such a thing, like to get a full page non-ad, like a photo in the mag, full page, like that was so sick. But yeah, is the new thing, is it not at Soltech anymore? It's not in Lake Forest, or is it
still there? It's still in the same office.
Okay.
Yeah, still the same office, and they have an office in Amsterdam and Switzerland. It's like the headquarters of it all.
Whoa.
So it is cool for me personally because we had our sales meeting in Amsterdam, so I've never been there, so that was sick. And there's new people coming involved into the brand, and it's cool to have a different perspective. I mean, it's awesome. Pierre and Don are still there. So
they are.
Yeah, they're totally, everything's all good. Everyone's still there. But
okay,
it's like
rad.
It's good to have different perspectives on things coming from someone like someone coming from outside coming in there now. So it is really cool. I mean, I grew up right there. Like I have photos of me with the first hat that S ever made, like when I was 11 years old. You know what I mean?
That's so sick.
So it's, for me, it means a lot to be working with them. So yeah, it's cool. And I cheers and congrats for you on being there for so long. And like, I understand being a part of something you love is something that is a lot of people don't get to do in life. And the fact that we do that, especially you, in your hometown and whatever, I'm happy to do with my hometown too, with Soltech.
Right.
Yeah, it's nuts. So I know, but it's cool. Like with Thrasher, I mean, the fact that it's the only one pushing it, and it hasn't, the aesthetic and its voice hasn't changed. Like the voice has stayed the same regardless of the media, the way it put, like when it comes to like the magazine or the website. I mean, I used to look at there was like points where it was like, it wasn't even looking at Thrasher. It was like the barracks for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like Thrasher has always been this one place where you could always look to. And it's just by far the first place everyone wants to look at and be on, whether it's the Instagram, the magazine, or the website. It's pretty incredible, dude.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the longevity that the employees put in too, because it's like, I always say, like, if I leave Thrasher, I don't really want to stay in skateboarding because I was already kind of at the pinnacle. Like, I don't want to like go to like, I don't know, low card, or, you know, I love Rob and low card, but like, what am I going to do? Go to something worse that I've already been at the best? Like, it's kind of like, I mean, I love Sinclair, but he puts his foot in every door. He's not afraid to go all over the industry. And I just couldn't do that. I just wanted to be here and do it. And so as you get older, though, you're just like, I think you guys should make Menikmati 2. I think you make Menikmati 2 with fucking a dude from every country, and then you have a guest trick by the original guys in each part.
Wow.
So like Bob picks a Brazilian, you know, Arto picks his guy, and all these guys, and then you have this insane video where it's like, because that video, if people don't know about Menikmati, throw it in, buy a VCR, and then go buy it on VHS. Fuck the DVD. Just do it the right way.
Do it correct. I agree, man. I remember the day I saw that video, and it's like, those are the videos that will always, they're classics, dude, regardless. And it's crazy to think that, though, I mean, in my opinion, those were like the golden era of like that time was like skateboarding was progressing to so ridiculous points, and so was the making of the videos. Like when French Fred and Ty started to really do their thing, and John Holland right there, like that was like an eye-opening thing. And I love them so much because I trip out when I see Ty or John, or if I don't think I've ever met Fred personally, but I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna like gas you up like, oh my God, like, dude, you made me love skateboarding even more than I did. That's crazy that someone can make something so cool to make you more obsessed with it. And I really appreciate that for people. That's why what Thrasher is doing, I'm happy what Nine Club is doing, but like just being able to tell stories so people can live on and like to know the history of skateboarding is important to me. And I think that's our job is to, I mean, it sounds weird. It's not a job, but it's like my passion to let people know where skateboarding came from and whatever, you know?
Yeah, I think you have to prevent the claim jumpers. Like you don't want so-and-so to take credit for Hossoi's Rocket Air or something, right? You want Hossoi on wax saying like, this is how it happened. Like that thing Burnett I don't know if you just saw this, but Burnett did this thing with Bublets where they went and interviewed Lance and McGill and talked about the 540. That's gold. That's like all that kind of stuff is like, documenting it so nobody can be like, oh, but I was the guy. No, you weren't, dude. You were not. So just go save it.
It was funny. It's like I watched that last night, and I'm such like I only like in my era, like before, when I started skating, I never really paid attention to anything before me unless it was street. And so in such like vert and like transition skateboarding was so foreign to me that I didn't really know. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I really like it. I don't relate to this. But I watched it and I was like, that was incredible. Like I've only dropped it on vert once. So it's like speaking a different language to me almost. You know what I mean? Which is funny to think about. But even though it's skateboarding, but I think it is important for these things to be told so people know where these things are coming from. For sure. Yeah. Well, I think I got to let you go because you're going to the game tonight and I know how traffic goes and all that stuff. And listen, I told Mason, because Mason's been following me on the Instagram lately, and he comes in and goes, man, you really hate the Dodgers, huh? And I was like, yeah, I fucking hate the Dodgers. But I got a lot of friends in LA and I love them all. And like, don't get confused on any of that stuff. So I appreciate you. Coming on here is super fun. I encourage anybody else that watches this or knows about it to hit me up because we want more people to get involved. I was talking to Odell. I think he's going to come on because he grew up a Cardinal fan. So like having those different things, I think it's like really interesting and fun. And then you can learn stuff about that too. Like, oh, did you know that like this? And you're like, oh shit, really? Okay, sick. Did you know that?
Makes it funner.
Do you know that Tom Shaw is a big Dodger fan?
Dude, so I filmed all those contests for years, and Tom's dad is so rad. He would come up to me, and I'm wearing the Giants hat, and him and I would always talk baseball, like through the practice and stuff. He'd be like, "Yeah, Tom is sick, dude. His part this year, holy smokes,
insane." Incredible. Yeah. If you need anything from me, if like connecting anything with, I'm just saying for whatever with anyone, please let me know. This is awesome. Thank you for having me on the podcast. This is great. Yeah, for sure. I wanted to just show you a couple of things real quick on the way out. We got this. We got this segment that we throw together.
It's time to shit on Farhan.
So we got shit on Farhan, and then we always end the show with, don't forget what Salba said.
Fuck the Dodgers.
What? How did you get that? You clipped that somehow hard.
Love it. Hey, give me your prediction. 3 games, Giants, Dodgers. At the end of the 3 games, what's your prediction for the series?
2-1 Dodgers.
All right, let's see. I'm saying 2-1 Giants. So we'll talk Monday, and I'll let you know when this is going up. Thank you so much, dude. It's been fun.
Thank you, dude. Good talking with you, man.
And stay safe out there. I know it's crazy in them streets right now.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care. Peace.
Later.
Late.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skaters on Baseball. If you liked what you heard, please spread the word. Give us a good review, or hell, blow us up on your social media if you're down. Follow us at Skates on Base on Instagram for baseball news and other fun stuff. We love comments and listener participation, so bring it with an audio clip or an email. You can email us at skatersonbase@gmail.com. We're everywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be here all season long.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
Dude, that was one of the most mind-blowing shows I've seen to this day.
Much love.
Adios! Pelota!
See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.